Today, we're going to be looking at Jeffree Star. Something very juicy has come out, but first, a tweet from me. Jeffree Star has been basically, over the last 24 hours, flooding the algorithm, saying he's a nice guy with, giveaways and stuff. He's basically giving away all of his income, but, yeah, it's pretty interesting. He's been very generous as of late. Jeffree Star's been giving away money, acting like he's a good person. Yeah, that's basically it. I'm going to bring him a callers. Bill and Kat, you're on the air. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
So today we're joined by Bill, who's been helping me with the Jeffree Star series. If you've subscribed and you've been waiting for that, it's coming out soon. Just waiting on Bill to do his part. So that's your fault, Bill. And I'm also joined by Kat, who has wrote a very juicy article that has just come out, and it's very damning. So hello, Kat.
Hi, thanks for having me.
That's so good. So basically, let's just, start with his giveaways, because that's what he's been doing lately, isn't it? It definitely doesn't look suspicious at all.
No, it's very interesting that he's offering $10,000 payments on Twitter at
Yes.
the same time that he is offering, allegedly, per messages that we reviewed. There's discussions of these $10,000 settlement payouts going around as well at the exact same time.
Yes, very, very coincidental, but very concerning as well. So 23rd of September is the first tweet saying he's given away $10,000 to 3 random people. Was that when the little legal issues were happening, or is that?
I want to say that was a little bit before. So with Jeffree, I feel like it's very difficult with his public persona, the things he has going on the side. Like, he's always been crafty, but it can be kind of hard to tell how he's trying to spin things in the public eye. And in the lead up to this article, part of what I was wondering was like, is this going to be part of his spin? And obviously, as of right now, he has not responded to this yet. So unclear, I guess.
Yeah, so the day before he tweeted saying he's been given $150,000 out, which is, loose change for him. And he's also got some new makeup coming out.
Which
very
also
interesting.
Yes, and also in the past, I have always noticed, and I know many others have as well, that Jeffree loves to do these types of giveaways when he either has a new product coming out or he is involved in some sort of scandal or disagreement with people. It's always like 20 minutes later, he's on Twitter trending because he's giving away all this money.
Yeah, which he did this morning, basically. He got himself trending with this tweet, Jeffree Star buy bills. Jesus Christ. And very coincidental that it also came out 24 hours before your article. And also coincidental that it's come out the time that he's apparently been robbed by his ex-boyfriend now that he had. Remember the boyfriend that came out of nowhere, using Death Noodles as a source, because although he is satirical, he does sometimes post something relatively newsworthy. So basically, apparently his ex-boyfriend found out some bad rumor. I don't know. I haven't really looked at it today.
It's so confusing. When that started happening last night, I started like freaking out because I was like, does this have to do with our story? Like, is this a distraction? But it really seems like 2 independent events. Like, whatever's going on with Andre Marhold right now, it's very weird. I'm just like, what is happening with those 2?
Yeah. Hang on, I've just got to fix... Oh, wait, no, they're gone, never mind. Yeah, so you missed Nate, but you bleeped his friend. I don't understand. Nice. You didn't even tell your supporters you hit me up offering all these expensive things for my time. I have proof of what I posted. Have your name on paperwork, name on pill bottles, etc. We can do this all night. And then he said he found something somewhere in Jeffree's place, and it's like gonna end his career. Where is the Death Noodles? Here it is. Look at this. This is a video he posted on Snapchat, I think. Or is it Instagram story?
Yeah, I think it was both. And that video is so fascinating because, in my opinion, like, watching that video, Jeffree's doing his normal thing that he always does. He's like restructuring the narrative. He's being very like, he's doing all of his like theatrical, like what he does with his voice, and like he's bringing up all of the things he's doing on Twitter. But I feel like the one that he posted on Snapchat and Instagram last night and then later deleted, you can kind of tell that he is not himself. Like, he seems very nervous in that video that he did last night.
Yeah, so we're going to play it now on stream. Boom. All right.
Hello, you guys. All right, I did not plan on coming on here today for a little chat, but bitch, we're gonna have a motherfucking chat, honey. So grab a Red Bull and let's dive in, because I just hopped on Twitter and there's a lot of Jeffree Star got robbed, Jeffree Star got this and that. Bitch, let me tell you what the fuck Jeffree Star didn't do. Listen, bitch, I'm sure a lot of y'all can relate, but sometimes when you meet people, surprise, they're not who they say they are. So y'all, real quickly, bitch, Jeffree Lynn got a little played. So I've been hanging out with someone, just two grown adults having sex and chilling, nothing serious, but I was presented a whole different person than who this man really was. So, and that's fine. Y'all know out there, I'm sure a lot of you out there have dated or dealt with or even hung out with some shady ass people, and yes, bitch, it happened to me. So about a week ago, Jeffree Lynn discovered a lot of things, and this person secretly had no job, no money, not even a bank account, and we're talking this person's 30 years plus. So all these things that I were told were all false. And I was lied to, and I was like, okay, bye, sweetie. It was really good meeting you. Thanks. Bye. And then all of a sudden, there's some Louis Vuitton luggage missing. There's some backpacks missing, and there's a few sunglasses missing. So Jeffree Star got robbed. No, someone just stole a few things. Now, I know, Jeffree, you can just rebuy it. I'm not complaining about no value, no money. It's just a principle. I don't care if someone steals a nickel off your counter. It's wrong. And if you revel and enjoy anything, if you enjoy bad news for anyone, including me, you're sick. Because I logged on Twitter and y'all, some people are like, yes, someone got him, fuck him. I'm like, bitch, there's a special place in hell for you. But yeah, so some designer shit stolen from me, and it isn't about what it is, it's just about the principle. It's just sad. So instead of answering the phone, this person was just posting like they were still at my house, driving.
Right. I can't take him seriously with a filter, but like, he wasn't robbed, everyone. He was stolen from. Kind of similar things, but yeah. So that was his ex-boyfriend now, which was the basketball player, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yep, the German basketball player.
Oh dear. I guess it's just a side piece to this, isn't it?
It's really, really interesting. It's like, where did all of that come from? Like, with the boyfriend like fleeing Jeffree's apartment and going back to Atlanta, and like all of this stuff coming out on their Instagram stories. But clearly, because Jeffree deleted those Instagram and Snapchat stories as Andre was putting on his story, like, you have 1 hour to take this down, or I'm like releasing all this info. And then he took it down. So it really does seem like Jeffree may not be in control of the narrative with the boyfriend right now.
Yeah, he's probably just gone.
Yeah,
Legal
and that's
team,
not
help
like
me.
him, is it? Like,
Yeah.
he's usually the one taking control of the situations, and as you said, like, you know, he's
Oh, yeah.
usually the one that's kind of pushing the narratives, and it, yeah, it does.
He's always on top. He's always on top, yeah.
Bit weird.
Right. He always like has a plan, or at least that's how he wants people to think he acts. And then in this case, it seems like he does not have a plan and he's reacting to everything that's happening.
Yeah, are we like just not forgetting the fact that he somehow weaseled his way out of the Tati video? Like, he's now back. He's literally just posting without any, like, he's just doing it. Like, the first few days were quite funny when people were responding to him, and like all the fans saying, why'd you have his notifications on? Like, man, it's funny. I have him in lists, and I get that a lot. So yeah, basically, and his orgy palette, I don't know why he named it that.
Yeah. I was just going to say, he was able to not only make a comeback from all of the allegations that Tati Westbrook leveled against him this summer, but then he also marketed yet another makeup collection release. So
don't worry, guys. There's much bigger things happening in the world today. This is just petty drama. Petty drama is all it is. Bill, didn't you say that this also undersold the orgy palette? Wasn't there like...
Yeah, a little while ago. The orgy palette didn't sell out. Like, all of his stuff usually sells out within, like, I don't know what, like within the first week at least. And then there was still stuff on the site. But, you know, that could be a combination of things. Like, COVID and him not having a good few months, and he had some issues with wasn't this like his last thing with Morphe, I think, before they dropped him, or they dropped him now? I'm not sure.
Yeah, they did drop him after the Shane stuff.
Bit of a sad moment for Jeffree.
With
and he was like, "Oh yeah, they've gone."
With the Teddy stuff, it was like, I feel like it's a combination of him being someone who's just a truck and just plows through stuff, and then Tati, who already had a damaged reputation for the false allegations she made against James Charles. So people were already incentivized not to believe her, and he just trucked through it and just blunted his way through the entire thing. And
he took 2 weeks off, and then he responded, and then he just kept going about with his business and ignoring everything. And it's basically what he's done mostly every single time as well, so it's a good play by him. But I wonder if he's going to respond to this new thing. So, of course, the little trending hashtag I woke up to this morning was Jeffree Star buy bills. Yes, so Jeffree Star is currently flooding the Twitter algorithm with things that make him look good to hide the fact that something rather damning is coming within the next 24 hours. Throwing money at people is very suspicious, Jeffree. Stop paying people off and take accountability. So what should he take accountability for? Oh, what's this? From Insider by, oh look, here it is, Kat Tenbarge. Jeffree Star accuses say the makeup mogul has a history of sexual assault, physical violence, and hush money offers. Now that is serious allegations. So how was it like researching this one, Kat?
It was very, very insane. I have been talking to people for this article since we went into quarantine in New York. Like, I have been talking to people since April. So this has just been like months and months of talking to people from Jeffree's MySpace past. It really does feel like, and I think you kind of get the sense of this in the article, it's like it was this big social circle that Jeffree thrived in and was like a mean girl in. And in his like early MySpace days, he really styled himself as like the Regina George of the internet. And all of the other major players on MySpace and Stickam back during that era, all of them saw what Jeffree acted like back in like that time period. And so I've just been talking to this entire social circle of people who were like the internet celebrities of 2007 and 2008 and 2009. And it has just been a very wild trip back down into Jeffree's past.
Oh yeah, tell me about it. Yeah, so here, the online persona Star cultivated during that phase of his career, so basically his early MySpace career into his his whole music career as well, he was the same as his MySpace. He was the divergent personality. He was aggressive. He didn't take no shit from no one, as you may have saw from the start of the stream in the clip. Yeah, so he was very, and you've obviously got the clips of him saying the racial slurs and attacking people, the taser scene. Oh god, there's so many clips of him just being aggressive and angry, really.
Yeah, even on his YouTube channel, one of his first, maybe not one of his first videos he uploaded, but back in like the early days of Jeffree's YouTube channel, he did a like, what's in my Birkin bag? And in his Birkin bag, he was pulling out all of these weapons. Like, he had a big knife, and he had like, I don't think he had a taser in the video, but he had like mace and all of these little like weapons that he had concealed. And he was just like, it was part of his persona, but then with speaking to the people who actually were there and witnessed it, it seems as though it was not just a persona. Like, he really did carry these weapons around and actually threatened and intimidated people with them, according to the people who talked to us.
Yeah, because there are multiple there are multiple occasions, like that one blog post he did in 2009, I'm pretty sure off the top of my memory, that he apparently got arrested and was given a weapons felony charge after being detained at the Hollywood airport. Apparently he made $20,000 bail, and I don't know what the weapon was because I couldn't find. Of course, California can't really go snooping around into people's arrest records because it's classified, basically. So yeah, so whatever weapon he was carrying, he definitely carried weapons. There's a clip in, oh fuck's sakes, trying to think back because I've been working on it for the past month, the video. There's like, I think it was an interview, I think, and he said he has a Glock, so, you know, That's nice. It's in the intro of the video.
In his most recent apology video that he did just like a month ago, or like month and a half ago at this point, Jeffree literally said, "I have never committed a crime."
Yeah. Yeah.
In that video.
And there's multiple interviews where he said he's been, arrested 3 times for assault. This one saying he's been arrested with a weapons felony charge. He's quite the character at telling these little white lies.
For sure. And I'm sure you've experienced this as well with all of the research that you've done. Going back, he contradicts himself constantly. Yeah. So it's really hard to figure out like what is the truth and when is he saying it.
Yes. Especially with that LA Weekly article that will be seen in the video. That's quite interesting because towards the end of the second part of that video, you see the certain image that he said he scrubbed from existence is just sitting there on the wall. So, yeah. Apologies on his strong suit.
No.
Yeah.
Well, that's like, I think I said it in the article, like in his 2017 apology video where he addressed the racist things in his past, he never actually said, "I'm sorry." Like he never actually apologizes in that video. And I'm not the first person to say that. Like D'Angelo Wallace really went into that. Yeah. But like he never actually apologized. And then on top of that, he just says like, "I'm not racist." And that's what that's how he like tried to move on from all of this, was just by saying he's not actually racist and he like hates those things that he said in the past.
He basically said, "I'm not that person anymore."
Honestly, as bad as it sounds and as bad as a response it is, I think it works for him. Like it really does. He just trucks through it, and the people who follow him, they know about his past already, and they don't care. They really don't care.
They just like his product. So like, we can't find any better products, so we're gonna buy his. Jeffree Star approved products.
Yeah, it's like the same with a lot of YouTubers and creators. It's like they have such loyal fan bases that they could get away with so much. Like it takes a lot for their fans to then start saying, okay, well maybe I don't want to buy this guy's stuff or you know watch these guys' content. So
and it's also kind of the persona that Jeffree has built up over the years, even post MySpace. Even once he became a YouTuber, his thing has always been like, I have dirt on everybody. And I end people's careers if they cross me. Like that has been his brand. So I feel like his fan base just kind of expects him to be doing these like behind the scenes shady things because he brags about it openly.
Yeah, so because when Jeffree finished music because of his fallout with Akon basically, and he went to make his makeup company, Jeffree Star Cosmetics, he had obviously taken kind of a break from doing anything really, but I think he was still active online, but wasn't as, out there doing things. And it wasn't until 2015 that he started his YouTube channel and started promoting his brand and starting getting into the beauty community. And then, like that short space from 2016 to 2017, the amount of controversies he was in that were so public, it was ridiculous. He basically took all of it, the previous decade, and just crammed it all into 2 years. And he was calling everyone out and causing so much controversy and being such a hypocrite with some of the situations. And, of course, snapping at some fans when they shouldn't have been snapped at and just blindly accusing them of things that they didn't do. So, yeah, he hadn't learned. And then after his 2017 video, he said he's going to work on that and not be responsive to these things. And then everything else happened. So, he's just lies all the time when it comes to these like moments where he should be taking accountability and actually improving himself. He doesn't actually improve himself. He just he says he'll do it, does it for a little bit, and then just goes back to his normal self, and everyone accepts it because they just don't care. I don't think it's just weird.
It is weird. I think it feels like a bunch of YouTubers employ this strategy where every time they make an apology video, they're like, I'm never doing this again. This is the last time you're going to hear me apologize because I'm like taking accountability and moving on. And Jeffree 1000% fits into that. Starting in 2017, he said, I'm taking accountability. I'm not that person anymore. Then in 2019, he says, never doing this again. I will never be getting into dramas like this again. And then here we are in 2020, he's made a third apology video. And now we're finding things all over again.
Yeah. He's done so much that we've got a 3-part series coming out on it. Jeez. What was so reading this article? What was like what was the biggest claim made against him?
I think ultimately the biggest thing. So we had a source approach us in July, which is where you are right now in the article. His name is Gage Arthur. He was a really minor stickam celebrity in like 2008, 2009. And Gage is the person who accused Jeffree of performing non-consensual oral sex on him. But then after Gage told us that Jeffree's lawyers reached out to him, he tried to change his story. And that was ultimately the biggest twist in this reporting process, is that I get this email from one of my main sources, and he's saying that he wants to change his story. And then one of my other sources reaches out to me and shows me, their screenshots are down in the article, of this Facebook message that Gage has now sent her that says, if you go all the way down to the bottom, it's like the very last thing.
Ooh, that one?
Right there. I see this message that he sent hours before sending me the email saying that he wanted to change his story.
Okay. The events I discussed with Business Insider were from many years ago. I'm not sure I am remembering things correctly, and I may have misinterpreted things. I've decided to retract my communications to Business Insider and told them they don't have authority to publish anything I discussed with them, even though that's not how it works. To resolve all of this, Jeffree Star has agreed to pay you $10,000 if you choose to do the same. Send a number and I'll send it over if you want. So, okay. So who's Chris Avery Bennett again?
So Chris Avery Bennett used to have this MySpace blog that she operated when she was a teenager, and she would highlight different like gay influencers at the time on this blog that she ran. And it was called Make a Difference, and it was just supposed to be a gay rights blog. And Chris reached out to Jeffree publicly on his MySpace wall and commented on like a bulletin or something and said like, hey, Jeffree, will you do an interview for my gay rights blog? And Jeffree responded. I think if you scroll up, she says exactly what he replied back to her on MySpace at the time. But he basically just like sent her this kind of cruel, ruthless message in response. And then in turn, all of Jeffree's fans just basically dogpiled Chris Avery Bennett. And what ultimately ended up happening is, after facing all of this online harassment on MySpace, she actually attempted suicide and ended up going to an inpatient therapy program when she was a teenager because of all of the online abuse that she endured.
Jesus Christ.
And that was like a really poignant story for me when you look at Jeffree's overall history, because we see Jeffree doing this up until today. We see Jeffree tweeting nasty things at young kids and teens who follow him and then deleting them. Like, I've covered multiple articles I've written are like Jeffree tweeted and deleted this awful, like rude, cruel message at either like someone who bought something from him and complained, or someone who was like saying something rude about him on Twitter. He loves to just like clap back at these tiny accounts, or even like actual fans of his. Like in the Chris Avery Bennett case, she was asking him for an interview to highlight him on her gay rights blog. And he just has this cruel way of conducting himself online that results in a lot of his fans swarming and attacking people who didn't actually do anything.
Yeah, I see why he does delete a lot of his tweets, because they are, every article like you look at from the past, and there's like a Twitter debate between people, is all of his tweets are gone. They're always gone.
For someone,
for
someone who claims to like not like drama very much, he seems to start a lot of it. So
in the 2017 apology, the racism video that doesn't discuss racism, he says he was gonna like step back from drama because he doesn't like it. Yeah, here we are, still dabbling into drama because he loves it. He has like that little secret passion. It's basically his identity. He's known for his drama.
Yeah, and him saying he doesn't want drama is so hypocritical, because his MO since the very minute he joined the internet.
He literally built his career on drama, yeah.
Yes, he rides one wave of drama to the next. He makes friends with all the MySpace scene girls, and then one by one has these explosive feuds with them and these falling outs. He's best friends with Kat Von D, and then he tears her down. He gets onto YouTube and he's best friends with James Charles, and then he tears him down. And it's just like, for someone who claims to not want to be in drama, he not only finds himself at the center of drama, but purposefully goes out of his way to publicly call out other creators, knowing that that will be the end result.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny how he doesn't like it when people, paying customers who pay quite a bit of money for his products, they either complain about something being broken or finding something in the, a contaminated pallet or something. He said he doesn't like it when people do that. However, in the past, he's okay with criticizing other creators' products if they're faulty. Mm-hmm. So why can't customers criticize his products?
Yep, he did that. He did that exactly with Kylie Jenner.
Yes.
When Kylie Jenner first launched her lip kits, he got his, I don't know if it was a PR package or if he had just bought it.
Yeah, it was a PR package, yeah.
Yeah, and he opens it up and he's like, these bristles are this is a disgraceful product, blah, 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 blah. And then people have the exact same issue with his products.
Yeah. Like the Rocky Roadkill situation, which is prime example of my video. I'll give the little rundown so I don't spoil the video because that's coming out soon. Basically, Rocky Roadkill was a fan of Jeffree, a big fan of Jeffree. Went to DragCon where Jeffree was debuting one of his products, so it was the only place you could get the product at the time because it was an early release. Goes home to review the product, it falls out the packaging, breaks, so it was a faulty, damaged product. So he made the video, bit over emotional, I do think so myself, but he said the product was still good. It was pretty emotional. It was fake crying. I don't know why. But yeah, the product was faulty, but he still said he enjoyed it. He said it was good, and he just wants one that's not broken like anyone else would. Jeffree Stan's got a hold of the video, started commenting abuse, being like, "Oh, you're just doing this for clout," as most stans do. Jeffree sees people tagging him on Twitter, and he's goes straight to the video, comments something very nasty, saying that he's going to contact YouTube about this defamation, which it wasn't defamation, and YouTube can't remove anything because that's not what they do. Unless they have an actual legal complaint sent to them, they can't do anything. And it turns out a few weeks later that this was a widespread issue, and many other people who, after the actual thing had shipped and it's now after pre-order or pre-release, they're broken, and people are coming to Twitter, and then Jeffree's like, uh-oh. So Rocky Roadkill responded in a video saying that, well, look, this is happening, people are complaining. And Jeffree didn't respond initially in a video, but he responded in the comments section saying how he's sorry and that his fans basically influenced him to respond that way. And he didn't take any accountability for it whatsoever, as per usual. And then he kind of shifted the blame onto a third party, saying that the shipping company that took it from the factory to his warehouse were at fault for dropping a pallet. And for some reason, it was sitting there for 3 weeks and no one decided to check if anything was okay after it had been dropped on the floor. I
feel like this is such an issue with so many of these creators. It's take responsibility for stuff and people are going to have so much more respect for you.
Oh yeah.
Just because your employee has messed up, the world doesn't need to know that your employee has messed up. Because at the end of the day, your employees are a representation of yourself. And if you need to fire that employee, then fire that employee, or fire the contractor that's dropped the pallet or whatever. But the world doesn't need to know that. The world just needs to know that you're taking responsibility for a mistake that your company has made.
Yeah.
What is... Oh, it actually hurts. And literally, if these creators and people like Jeffree Star just said this is my fault and I take responsibility for it and I'm going to fix it and make sure it doesn't happen again, people are going to have so much more respect for them than just blaming other people all the time.
He basically said, we didn't know about this until obviously everyone started showing us the dodgy products, and it was like, well, where's your quality assurance? Where's the people checking stuff? Surely in
what
a
kind
work...
of an argument is that?
It's so dumb.
My fans influenced me, guys, to go and my fans. It's like a feedback loop. The fans tell him to go and encourage them to harass someone, and then he tells them to go and harass someone, and then they go and harass someone, and then they tell him to tell them to harass someone. It's like, where does that start and where does that end? Surely that's something that he started. Like, such a bad argument.
It's such a power imbalance because he's the one who has the power in the situation. Like, they're his fans. They will listen to him.
Yeah. So dumb.
Yeah, so basically he took no responsibility for it all, and then he released a video like a week or so later and basically read his comment. He read his comment in the video, that's all he did. And yeah, that was him explaining the drama. And
yeah, it probably was a clout chaser then, let's not lie. Jeffree Star was probably right that one time.
Yeah.
Or his fans were, sorry, his fans were. Jeffree Star didn't say that.
Jesus. Yeah, so that was one occasion I have. The other occasion I probably won't go into because it's, not as
spoil it.
Yeah, I don't want to reveal everything. But yeah. Yeah, within the last 20 minutes of the video, you're all going to be hooked.
Hooked, really.
Hooked. Yes. Hooked. You just have to watch the first 40 minutes to get to it. Oh dear. Yeah. So, Jeffree Star, not a very nice person by the looks of it. Oh. And you talk to Star's attorneys. How are they like?
I didn't never. So basically, like, with the legal stuff, it's mostly like I send the claims to their attorneys, and I never spoke to them on like the phone or anything. So I don't know what they're really like. But we did have a lengthy back and forth process.
Yes. Yeah. How many people did this pass through to actually get published? Because this was getting edited for a long time.
Yeah, tons. It was a really lengthy investigation, and it started actually with the Dobby Vanity situation that was going on back in April when Jeffree went on Keemstar's podcast.
Yeah,
not even Chris Hansen. That shows how terrible he is. Okay, never talk about Chris Hansen ever again. Yeah, go on.
But even then, Jeffree was trying to get ahead of these accusations of sexual assault that were coming out, or not sexual assault against him, but like the idea that Jeffree was hanging around people who were predators in the Warped Tour community and in the MySpace community. And more so than in the Chris Hansen interview, in the Keemstar interview, Jeffree really like strongly tried to come out ahead of that and deny that he had those types of associations with those types of people. But that Mom's Basement podcast interview was also kind of the beginning of the end, because that's when he said he had the voice memo from an alleged victim of James Charles on his phone, which is what made everything blow up this summer.
Yeah, it's mad that Mom's Basement managed to get so much out of him. But
I know.
I can't remember it properly, but Bill, wasn't Colossal's, like, some of Colossal's questions, like, cut from that, like, episode?
I don't remember exactly. There was an episode of Mum's Basement where Keem had asked for certain sections of the podcast to be clipped, and they were grilling whichever guest was on there. I don't remember whether it was Jeffree Star, but I do remember that Clown absolutely grilled Jeffree on that. And he had asked for the questions. He had asked for questions in his Discord beforehand, and we were like sending him questions. And he actually did a really, really good job of grilling him as hard as possible to try and get as much out of him. And Keem and Banks were kind of like, how do I put this politely? They were giving him an easy time. Let's say.
They were there just to have him on and giving them views. They didn't really.
It might have been that podcast. It might have been another one. I can't remember. I honestly can't remember.
Yeah, I remember Colossal is Crazy did a really good job of just being like, with the Dobby tweets in particular, he just like really put down and was like, you have to recognize that this doesn't make sense, that you like said this and took it back.
He is an excellent interviewer.
Very good. The Dobby thing, so he was on tour with them in 2010, and then after his first US tour, I think it was US, or was it the World? It was one of the tours. There was 2 tours that year. Once that finished. Yeah, one of them was in the US and one of them was somewhere else. I can't remember off the top of my head. But after the first tour, he'd like tweeted all this out and then didn't associate with Blood on the Dance Floor anymore because of Darby Vanity. And that's all those tweets you saw, that he's a terrible human being type of thing. And then he was meant to go touring with them in the second part, and they didn't go because of that. I did find a blog post by somebody who was a blogger at the time, and they said that it was like a different reason for them not going together. Like, apparently Blood and Dance Floor said that Jeffree didn't show up to recordings and stuff. So I think that might have been the story at the time. And then Jeffree released his tweets, and then everything went downhill. But fast forward a year later, he's happy and he's friends with them again. And he's happy to go on Warped tours with them again. So it's just...
Yep. And he worked with them all the way. It's honestly shocking. He worked with them all the way up until 2014 because that was the last song that he released with them, which is shockingly recent when you think about it.
Especially when you've accused them of doing things 4 years ago. And when all the allegations started slowly creeping up, of course, not as explosive as it was it the start of this? Yeah, it was the start of this year, wasn't it? When it all came out together and hit the boiling point when everyone started jumping in on the Darby Vanity story.
Absolutely, it was a blast from the past moment.
Yeah. So yeah, he's just over the Of course, I've known over the past 4 months that me and Bill have been working on this. In his early interviews, they just kind of like, even like one of his first ever interview, he jokes saying he's like 17, I think, saying he's turning 17, working for an adult person, like, you know, early days OnlyFans type of makeup artist. And then like a few months later at another interview, he said that he was whatever his real age was. It's just like, I spoke to the guy who actually did that first ever interview, and he said he was like confused at why Jeffree said that. So
that's so interesting.
Yeah. And he also said that he asked him to take it down back in 2014, so that's kind of fun. I wonder why. Yeah, so basically Mr. Jeffree Star is trying to hide his past again.
Did we ever get to the... Sorry to butt in. The Mum's Basement podcast, did we ever get to the bottom of this from the James Charles drama? There was that audio clip that was... There was that audio clip that apparently had gone around a few people. Did you ever get to the bottom of that or not?
It kind of just died out because there was like a few people who alluded to it. People said they heard it, like Blair White said she heard the audio, and then like I want to say Sebastian Williams like tweeted that the audio, like that either he had heard it or he had spoken to someone who had heard it. So clearly the audio was like getting around behind the scenes, but it never really was resolved, like what the audio was or who it was or anything. It was just like, similarly with what happened in 2019 with Dramageddon, Jeffree Star was lodging these kind of like insane allegations against James Charles, that there are victims, and there was never any conclusion. There was never any like, no one ever identified who these accusers would be or what this evidence that he claims to have would be.
Yeah, I'm starting to wonder whether we'll find out if why Dr. Disrespect got banned first, or if we find out about the audio recording. So strange.
Jesus Christ. Let's ask Slasher.
Jeffree tweeted 18 months ago.
Oh dear. Did you say Jeffree tweeted?
Jeffree tweeted, "Good morning, everyone. How are ya?"
Hi, how are ya?
And I just checked, and I don't think it was up.
Good morning, everyone. How are ya? Let's see what the replies are. Surely somebody. Surely. No, it's just
sure, right.
Surely.
Maybe you should post the article under it.
He hasn't blocked me yet, which is kind of surprising since he blocks so many people.
Hi, Jeffree.
Yeah.
Let's just steal a Def Noodles.
All right, guys, I am going to head off of the stream and head back to
dealing with everything that happens after you release an article and everyone's like, oh, this is tea.
Exactly. But thank you so much for having me. It was great to talk about it.
Yeah, thank you for coming on and explaining the hell you went through trying to get this out.
Of course. Yeah. All right. Thank you guys so much.
All right. Thank you for coming on, Kat. See ya.